I've felt pretty lazy lately. I've struggled to get out of bed. I've had naps in the middle of the day, which I literally never do. And if you've ever felt like you're just stuck in a lazy slump that you can't get out of, this video might help you. I'm going to teach you how to get out of it, or at least how I deal with it. I'll get into the real reason why I'm feeling a bit lazy at the moment later. But first, I'm going to make some breakfast and go to the gym. And this morning, I'm going to go to the commercial gym, which is the first vlog I will have done in the commercial gym. Obviously, you know I'm a CrossFitter, but my partner started a new job at a gym. It's a Jets gym, if you've seen them. They're around the UK. It's like a franchise. And it's got so much kit. And it's also got Olympic weightlifting platforms. It's got an assault runner. And it's just a really nice gym. And I've really enjoyed training there. It's also nice to like do my own thing a little bit, so I'm going to take you along with me today and show you what that's like. And I've also got a little surprise when I get back. I'm a bit nervous about it. I'm not looking forward to it actually. I probably seem like I'm always wearing like a baggy black t-shirt when I'm in vlogs, but this is literally what I wear around the house every day. It's just like comfort is the main thing for me. I've actually been eating a lot less meat for some reason. I've had like meals where I've had just no meat protein in it, which is unusual for me because I grew up on a farm, so I've eaten meat all of my life. I've even had a couple of full days where I've had no meat, and it makes me feel really good, and it's part of the like intuitive eating journey that I'm on at the moment, just sort of figuring out how I want to eat and knowing that that's okay. And like, I don't feel like I have to prioritize protein anymore. It's given me the freedom to try some new things. But this morning I did want it, so I think every day is different for me at the moment. Okay, I've had breakfast. I'm looking a little bit more presentable. I'm ready to go to the gym. I know I'm gonna do back squats today. I definitely feel like I need to do a bit of like leg stuff because last week was really upper body heavy, kind of unintentionally. But I'm just in this stage where I'm kind of listening to my body with my training, and I am quite tired. We didn't sleep very well last night because the dog was barking at something. I'm not sure what she was barking at, but I barely got any sleep. So I'm just gonna play it by ear. I'm not feeling like I want to do anything super high intensity today, like not the level of CrossFit. I definitely want to do some cardio. I definitely want to do some Olympic weightlifting. Normally these sessions are about 2 hours long, so slightly longer than a CrossFit session. I'm just gonna go and see what I fancy doing. I know fitness influencers make it seem like there is, but there is no minimum amount you need to exercise. You can do the amount you want. You could do a tiny bit. You could just plan to turn up to the gym and sit on a stationary bike for 20 to 30 minutes and that would be absolutely fine. Just turn up and go from there. Have a think about what pieces of equipment you'd like to use. Bring a buddy if that helps. It really helps me to have Martin there. In this gym there are Olympic weightlifting platforms, which made me really want to Olympic weightlift here because we don't have that in a lot of the CrossFit gyms in Cornwall, and it's just so nice, especially that like sweet foot slam you get when you do a solid jerk. So today I was working on jerks. Well, I did a power clean, a push jerk and then a split jerk, and I'm just here just warming up my shoulder position, and I honestly did warm up. I didn't go straight into lifting this weight. I actually warmed up on like 10s and then the 20s, and then I think this is about 70 kilos. I didn't go straight into 70 kilos though. I know I made it look like that. And I did a few sets on this weight, and it's really, for me, it's not about getting stronger or getting any better. I'm just trying to maintain. Martin was doing triples, power snatches, but every single time I got him on camera it makes him look like he's just doing one and he's really exhausted. Martin's doing his British weightlifting qualification, so he's basically learning to be a coach in Olympic weightlifting. He's already been a PT for 12 years, but he wants to get that extra qualification because he wants to start coaching both online and in person. So I basically have my own personal coach at the moment, which is amazing. He's fully watching my technique. I built up to, I think this is 75 kilos. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is in pounds. And it started to feel a little bit better. That overhead position is a little bit tight and I'm just a bit like immobile there, but it did improve as the session went on. some of you will know I competed in Olympic weightlifting last year, and I ended up placing within the top 10 in the UK, and I was supposed to go on to compete at the English Championships, but I didn't end up doing it because they completely messed up the qualification for that. But the one thing I loved about it was having that in-person coaching, and it's so nice to have Martin like look at my lifts so technically. You don't get that as much in CrossFit, and with his programming at the moment, the program he's following, we kind of squat after the Olympic lift so you don't tire yourself out, which is very different to CrossFit. I built up to like 120 here, and I did sets of 3, and again I'm just trying to maintain my strength, so 120 is about 80% I think. My max back squat is 150 kilos, and I'm not worried if I lose a load of strength there. I'm just trying to just move and enjoy it and maintain some strength if I can, while I focus on some other goals. One big thing I was really worried about training in a commercial gym is people looking at me and being judgmental because my body might not look like an athlete's or a bodybuilder's, and there are a large population of men in this gym, and I get a lot of trolls online. I worry that a lot of them are going to be like the online trolls that are horrible to me, but my experience so far has not been like that. Yeah, there are some people that look at you, especially when you do Olympic weightlifting, because that is kind of unusual, but no one's been mean, and it's such a welcoming and nice environment. So after all of the Olympic lifting, I went on to doing some pull-up practice, and this week I was working on sets of 4. I think I did 5 sets of 4 in total. I don't really like the bars here. I wish they had a straight bar, but the straight bar is like at the back of the rig. I'm trying to get them to move it. But yeah, I'm enjoying like increasing my pull-up strength. That's the only area I'm kind of thinking of increasing strength in. And then after that we moved on to a workout, and we just plucked this out of thin air. So 250 meters each on the rower, and then it was 40 dumbbell snatches between the two of us and 30 box overs between the two of us, and then it was like 3 rounds. We did it for time, so it's not a super long workout, and it is more intense than I'd planned, but it was just what we thought of at the time. I did unfortunately injure myself during this workout, and you will see the little fall in a minute, and I've pulled my hamstring, and I'm really sad about it. It means I'm going to have to adapt my training over the next couple of weeks, and it means I've had to miss CrossFit today, which has made me sad, but it will all be okay. I'll just scale it back, and I'm sure it'll heal, and I'll be alright. I absolutely adore my Vivo shoes, and these are the Vivo Motor shoes, but for this particular workout they were just the wrong shoes, just because the more rubbery grippy surface they put on them for the lifting kind of impacted me on the box, and it's why I fell over, so it got caught on that fabric. There we go. Yeah. And I was fine in the moment. I was giggling and I was okay, and I went back to doing box jumps. But yeah, I've definitely properly injured myself. It was fine in the row as well. It was fine for the rest of the workout, and then I just got sore afterwards. What's really nice to see in commercial gyms is there are more of these functional fitness spaces, and I'm definitely seeing more CrossFitters kind of coming into gyms like this and working out in the functional fitness spaces, just because you can do what you want. And sometimes with CrossFit gyms, open gym times are a bit sporadic, and here it's a 24-hour gym, so you can just go whenever you want. That was so much fun. I had such a good session. I felt exhausted though in some of the movements, but I think it's because I'm like moving into my luteal phase, and I just feel like more knackered around that time. And I'm coming out of a bit of a burnout period, which I'll talk to you about when I get back. But first I need to drive back from the gym. I'm gonna share with you a little podcast that I've been listening to recently that just gives me the best vibes. Hey little one. Hey Kelly. She's so cute, isn't she? I'm dreading this already. You're gonna find out what my surprise is now. Oh, it's like autumn in the UK now, and I'm cold. I don't want to do this. I bet you can guess. I've just put in like loads of these prep kitchen like ice packs. Loads in there, so it's gonna be really cold. Filled it way too much. It's not that bad. Yeah, it is. I don't have a timer or anything to film like 2 minutes. Harry looks really concerned. Okay, sweetie. I might take my hands out. It's alright. No. It's okay, sweetie. No, don't do that. It's okay. It's okay. She's so stressed. Poor thing. It's actually okay now. I feel like it's been a minute or so. It's okay. It's okay. No, off. Oh, she's been so gentle. So ice baths are supposed to be good for like mental health and also recovery, but there is some conflicting studies about recovery from training. If you do it like close to your training, like within 4 hours, which I am doing, then it will like decrease like muscle mass growth and strength gains, that kind of thing. It will have an impact. Thankfully my goals aren't at all based on the strength training or gaining muscle at the moment. I just want to get fitter, so that's totally fine. Oh, I get my traps in. Oh. I'm gonna go and get in the nice warm shower, and then after that I'm gonna help you with this feeling that you're feeling super lazy at the moment and you just want to get out of that slump. I actually do feel quite awake after that. Like I feel like quite alive, like I've been in the sea. It's a good feeling. So here's the real reason you're lazy. You're actually not. You're probably burnt out, you've been working super hard, and a lot of the lives that you see online are not relatable and not applicable to your own life. You might see a content creator on Instagram doing their morning routine that involves getting up at 5 AM, getting in the ice bath, going to the gym, making the most beautiful breakfast in the morning, and you simply don't have time for that. And that is normal, and it's totally okay. So firstly, it's really important to think about whether we're actually being lazy or whether we're just suffering from comparison to other people and what other people achieve within their day, and also the highlight reel that they might be showing. On the other hand, you might actually feel like you're going through a bit of a lazy period or a bit of a slump. That's definitely something I've struggled with lately. But again, there's a cause behind that, and it's taken me a while to realise that when I'm feeling lazy, it's because I've massively burnt myself out. I'm a work and exerciseaholic. I've got such an addictive personality, and I put my absolute all into everything. And I also have this feeling that I've spoken about before, where I feel like I'm never enough, and that I just need to work and work and work until I'm putting all of my effort and energy into the things that I'm trying to achieve. And that just leads to burnout. I give it all, and then I've got nothing left. And then I berate myself because I feel like I'm being super lazy, when actually I'm just tired and I don't let myself rest. In this culture that we're in at the moment, we're constantly switched on. We're constantly consuming content. There's so much information that we can take in all of the time. And any of us that care about self-care, self-help, we might be consuming podcast after podcast and YouTube video after YouTube video to try and fix ourselves. But in actual fact, one of the main things we need to do is rest properly. Sometimes we overwork ourselves and consume content to a point that we feel so overwhelmed we can't even get out of bed and just want to watch Netflix and watch something like, I watched The Gilmore Girls the other day, obviously because it's autumn, and I just felt like I wanted that warm and fuzzy feeling. And that is totally fine to have a day like that, or a few days like that. But it becomes a problem when we start beating ourselves up for doing that. For me, even on the weekend, I get annoyed at myself for being lazy. And this last Sunday was probably the first time I had the laziest Sunday ever. And I felt so much better going into this week because I had actually recovered. And I mentioned I'd been napping and I'd not wanted to get out of bed. On Sunday, I had multiple naps during the day. Me and Martin and the dog literally fell asleep on the sofa. And it was the best Sunday I've had in such a long time. And after Sunday, I went from feeling like I was lazy and unmotivated and getting annoyed at myself to realising that I probably just needed rest. And one of the most important things that I did on that Sunday was that I put my phone in its phone jail, where it stays when I don't want to be connected to the outside world. I just want to focus on resting and recovering and not consuming loads of information that's going to overwhelm me. And that really helps. But you also might not be burnt out. Being lazy and unmotivated could also be a sign that something else is going wrong. You might be really exhausted from a high stress job, And as a former teacher, that is something that I have really struggled with over the years. And again, it comes into the comparison. Are you looking at your life and thinking, I can't fit in a 5 a.m. ice bath and a trip to the gym every morning before my busy job, and just feeling like you're too exhausted to fit all of that stuff in? That's fine. It might also be that you're unmotivated because you don't want to do the things you're trying to force yourself to do. This could be your current gym routine. For me, I started to lose interest in CrossFit. I realised that I didn't want to feel like I was constantly on this hamster wheel of trying to get better and better and better every single year and do all of the stuff, work on my weaknesses, do all the things that I am, by CrossFit standards, bad at. I didn't want to work on that stuff. I just wanted to do fitness because I enjoy fitness and it's good for me and my mental health. And I was feeling unmotivated because I didn't want to do the things that I was forcing myself to do. So I've started to find new things that I enjoy, and that is training at the commercial gym every so often. I've still got my CrossFit membership, but I like training at Jets. I love training with Martin, and I really enjoy just doing what I want to do. In the fitness industry, there's so much shaming. There's so many PTs out there saying you just need to drop your excuses and get on with it. But that's not actually true. If we want to build a fitness as a habit that we do for the rest of our lives, we don't want it to feel like a punishment. We want to enjoy it. One of the ways that I get out of a slump, I make myself a kind of menu or a list. I write down things that I feel like I want to do, and then you've got options that you can pick from. This allows me to listen to my body properly, and then I can just decide what I feel like doing on the day or some point that week and see how my body's feeling, and then pick something that fits with that. Getting rid of those hard and fast rules that I need to train a certain amount of days per week. I love exercise, and I know not everybody loves exercise, but I think that comes from finding things that I really do enjoy. And when I'm just letting myself train however what I want to train, I don't train just 3 days a week. Normally I end up training 4 or 5 days a week because I'm just allowing myself that freedom. And then I'll also do like extra walks or swims and other stuff on top of that. And that is sometimes, and I think recently, why I end up burning out again, because I do so much as I get really excited about it. But we need to remove that fear that if we just give ourselves the option to do whatever we fancy doing, that we're going to not train at all, because that often isn't the case. Unless you do really hate exercise, then I definitely suggest trying to find something that you enjoy. Maybe trying loads of different classes. Recently I tried a boxercise class and it was so exciting. I loved it so much. And Martin runs the classes, and I paired up with a guy that he knew could take some punches so I could properly go for it. And it was so much fun, and it was nothing to do with CrossFit, and it was nothing to do with any of the fitness stuff I've ever done. I've done boxing once or twice as a PT session. It was just the best. And trying new things like that can be really fulfilling. We don't necessarily have to stick to one thing. And with the rise of hybrid training, there are so many opportunities to think of a broad range of things that we want to do. And for me, I don't have any physique-based goals, so I am not interested necessarily in building muscle, and I know other people will have those goals, but there are loads of different ways that you can build muscle. You don't necessarily have to train the exact same way every day to the point of boredom. I heard another really good quote recently, and it was, "You're not a machine, you're a garden." I'll put the quote on the screen. It's like some days you need sun, some days you need water, you need different things on different days. You're not a machine that operates the exact same every single day. You're a garden that needs nurturing. And I really like that way of looking at it. Some days we might need rest, and that might make us feel more motivated in the days to come. Some days we might be mentally or physically exhausted, and we might need to acknowledge that and do something that helps support us through that. Maybe take away some of the overwhelm through technology and other things that might be impacting us. I also use like lists and menus as a way to deal with my life as well. So if you've got loads of things that you would like to do, but you don't know where to start and you don't know how you're feeling on that day, you could write it down in like a list and see it as a menu. So what do I feel like doing today? What do I feel like my body needs today? That way you're listening to yourself and how you feel, and it might reduce the risk of that burnout. You can also plan to do things that give you energy. So for me, going out on walks is one of those things. Take note of some of the tasks that you do and how it makes you feel. So going for that ice bath this afternoon, that actually made me feel like I had so much more energy, and it made me feel really good. And I'm going to remember that, because next time I need a bit of a wake up call and I feel like I just need to feel more alive, I'm going to get in the ice bath. And I'm like collating loads of lists of things that make me feel good at different times. So when I'm working a lot of the time, I'm a neurodiverse person and I need sensory breaks, I need movement breaks, and I have lists of things that are good for me to do during those breaks. Some of those are going outside for a walk, sometimes it's stretching, sometimes it's just doing a few push-ups or standing on a balance board. I just need something that makes me feel more grounded and that's going to give me some energy. And that's just what works for me. But instead of sitting at the desk with my productivity plummeting, feeling like I'm the laziest person on earth and I'm not getting anything done, I just give myself a 5-minute break, do something that makes me feel good, and when I get back to it, I feel a lot more productive. And if you really are starting from square one and you feel like you're doing none of the things that you want to do in your life at the moment, starting small instead of going like all or nothing. Start with one small thing, like maybe going to the gym 1 day a week or tidying up the house, and just doing one small thing, and that can help build momentum into the rest of your life. Again, take note of how that makes you feel. Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel more productive? For me, sometimes tidying my space in the morning just makes me feel ready to work. Taking note of the things that make you feel like you can take on the day, and then trying to put those in your life a little bit more. Laziness sometimes isn't a bad thing. We need periods of laziness in our life, and often when we're feeling like we're being really lazy, it's because our body needs it. Don't compare yourself to the influencers you see online or on Instagram with these amazing routines, and making yourself feel bad for being lazy once in a while is not going to improve the situation. And I don't have this all sussed out. It's definitely something that I'm still working on, and I've only really just realised that I need to let myself rest in order to feel like I am being productive, and that I don't need to be productive all of the time. I need to block out times during the week where I just do something that makes me happy and makes me feel calm and a little bit less overwhelmed. And then overall, I end up getting more done. If you need some motivation to get your life back together, then watch this video next. If you want to start functional training like me, then I've got my programs linked in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!